right, I am ready. I'm ready now. Hello everyone, welcome, welcome. Today we're going to talk about getting started in a business, specifically wholesaling. Wholesaling, you guys know what wholesaling is? It's a great way to make fast cash really quick. Wholesaling, you can wholesale anything, but the best way to do wholesaling is houses. For us, we like houses because, or it could be any real estate. It could be a townhouse, a condo, it could be a piece of land. You can wholesale anything. So our goal today is to tell you a couple of ways that you can get started. First I want to tell you why you want to wholesale, right? Then I want to tell you who wholesales houses, like what kind of people wholesale houses. Because you know, a very small percentage of people that want to do the business, they actually buy houses and get them resold and make money, right? You know that. So out of 10 people here, maybe one of you are going to wholesale a property today or this week or this month, right? So it depends on how much you want it, and but anyway, we'll come back to that. I'm going to share with you, I'm going to tell you about how I started, and also what it requires to be a wholesaler. Like like if you treat it like a business, and why it's so important to treat it like a business, right? And the last thing is, I'm going to tell you three steps to get started today. You know, from pretty simple steps with zero money to spending a little bit of money on your business, on your new wholesaling business, or real estate investing business. So one of them, I'll tell you now, and then I'll break it down really quick. And I can give you examples, or remind me, I can give you examples of how to buy properties in these ways I'm going to tell you. So one of them is business cards, right? Business cards, extremely important. The next thing is agents, real estate agents. In any market in the country, we need real estate agents. And also postcards. If you're getting into business, you need postcards. Postcards, I'll show you a sample of my postcards. There's 5 different postcards you can use. And fortunately for us, Steve prints is here. You can order all of this stuff from him and more. Right, I order brochures, I order door hangers, a banner. Thanks Steve for making this beautiful banner. So I'm glad you guys came, and I'm glad you're here. So let's get started. So why do real estate investing? Why wholesaling? Who knows why? Who can tell me why getting
the profit margin?
Profit margin, big profits, fast cash. Our product and our business is houses.
Low risk.
Low risk, amazing, low risk. So we can drive home from now and we can see a house that's vacant, ugly, and sitting there, and we can put a business card that we'll talk about, and we can get a phone call from that seller, and we can turn that phone call into a $10,000 or $20,000 profit. So this is why this business is beautiful, and that's why people want to be in the business. Like everyone and their mother want to be in the business. So because of this cool benefits, like no money, no risk, no credit. You know, it's so easy to get to these properties, right? So I tell people, usually you look for 2 things when you start wholesaling. You look for a distressed, keyword, distressed seller or distressed property. So distressed seller or distressed property. So if there's none of those, it's going to be hard for you to buy that property or make money. So just to keep that in mind, distressed property, which means needing work, needs roof, needs a cut grass, needs a grass cut, needs you know, whatever. Like you could tell that the house is big and ugly and just sitting there. So you guys got that part, right? The wholesaling part of the business is amazing. It's great money. You can reach your goals real quick. You can flip a house and make $40,000 and go away with your family for the summer for a month, like we've done before in the last few summers. You can just go to Hawaii, go to Europe if you want for 3 weeks, for a month and a half. But all that is through wholesaling. You can do all that through wholesaling. So the next step is, what kind of person takes to wholesale? Like who wholesale properties? Like what kind of person do you think wholesale properties? Like what type of person do you think wholesale properties? Like who can tell me?
Bird dogs.
Bird dogs. Like I'm talking more about the type of person you have to be a wholesaler. To be a entrepreneur, a real estate investor, like what type of person you have to be.
A go-getter? Self-starter.
Self-starter, yeah, a go-getter.
You have to be hungry, you have to be aggressive.
Hungry.
Independent.
Say that again?
Independent.
Independent, yeah. I like that word, hungry. You have to be hungry. If you're not hungry, you're not gonna have lunch unless you go out there and go find those leads, right? And you find those vacant properties. Go-getter, goal setter, right? You set goals. You know, you don't take, you don't wait for people to tell you what to do. You just come up with your own stuff to do.
Self-starter.
Self-starter, yeah, that's what we said. That's what we meant to go back. So all those qualities are really important. You understand that? It's very, very important to realize that, because if you're not that type of person, it's going to be hard for you to be competing with some of the wholesalers in your cities or your state and your counties. So that's really important to realize and to know that it's not you that's going to just decide to get started and go out and wholesale. You got to put your mindset into this type of person, type of people that takes to wholesale properties, which is all these great qualities. You know, you got to be courageous. You got to be positive all the time. When people say there's no deals, I usually stay away from those people, because we buy properties every single week. Every week we buy properties, and I can tell you some of the deals we do. But for now, just know that if you don't have these qualities, you're not going to do good in this business, or you're not going to be buying like a fantastic deal today or this week or this month, right? So what else? So do you think you should treat the business as a business? Do you think, and this is the third quick question I have for you, if you getting into wholesaling or real estate investing, do you think you need to treat it as a normal business, like any entrepreneur?
You think yes.
Absolutely, right? You need to treat it as a business. So what does that mean? Treat it as a business, it means to have a plan of what you're going to do, right? Obviously, you know what you want to do. You want to be a real estate investor. You want to be a wholesaler. You want to make fast cash. You buy ugly houses. So your next step is have a plan of action. Have a specific goal on how you're going to start doing that. So what does that mean? What's an example of doing that? And this is the topic when I thought of speaking in front of you today. Some of the basic things you need to get started, and those three things are really easy and simple to get. Those three things that we're going to talk about in a minute. But the most important thing I can tell you guys is to treat it like a business, to realize that you need to spend or invest some money in yourself or invest some money in the actual business, right? Invest in yourself means you need the knowledge, right? You need the knowledge to get you to where you want to be, from where you are to where you want to be. And number two, you need the systems, you need the services, you need the tools, you need Steve to print you some marketing stuff. So you need to know that that's really important, and then write it down and have a specific plan of attack, right? A specific plan of attack to what you're looking for. So when you say treat it as a business, as a real estate entrepreneur, what's the first thing you got to know? If you're getting into business, a real estate entrepreneur, what's the first thing to know? Like who do we look for? Like, who's going to help us buy a property that we can make $25,000 today? Like, who is our target audience, right? A target audience. Like, who's a prime prospect, not a suspect. Maybe like a motivated seller. That's where we want to get to, right? Because that motivated seller is going to sell us that property today. Now, a motivated seller, that's what I want you guys to know, that that's really what we hope for, to get a phone call every morning, like every day. Like when we go on about our day, the phone rings, and who do you want to be calling you? That desperate seller, that motivated seller that wants to give you the house today. Now, a motivated seller is just private people, private individuals, motivated sellers. Who's a motivated seller? Can a bank be a motivated seller? A bank? Yeah. That's a motivated seller, right? Can some kind of hedge fund, some kind of company be a motivated seller? Right? Yes, of course. We're buying a house today. We're buying a house as we speak. It's worth 280. You guys ready for this? The house is worth 280, and we're buying this property for 100 grand, right around 100 grand. Right around 100 grand. Do you know who the seller is? An investor, just like us. A not trained investor, because they didn't know what to do with the property. It needs so much work. So that's why when you have this clear in your mind on who your target seller is, whether it's a seller, a private seller, a bank, or some kind of hedge fund, some investor that bought a property didn't know what to do with, those are the type of sellers we look for. That's our target client. That's what we hope to get a phone call from them every single day. We want to get a phone call from them. Ideally, you want to get a couple of those phone calls per day, right? So your business really revolves around you getting phone calls from those type of sellers. Banks, agents, private sellers, desperate sellers, motivated sellers, investors that don't know what to do with their property, like this property. Now, when you buy a great deal, like the deal I just told you about, your exit strategy is endless, right? I bought a house. You guys want me to tell you again? You guys want me to tell you again? This deal is for 280,000. I got it for right around $100,000. How do you do that? How do you buy Scott? How do you buy a property like that? How do you buy a property worth 280 for right around 100 grand? How?
Talk to the seller.
Well, we just told you. Like, this deal came just like I said. We talked to agents, you talk to desperate sellers, you talk to desperate investors. You go to networking meetings, right? Networking meetings, and that's where I met that agent that brought me that deal. Just at investors meeting, just like this one. So you guys are good so far, so good. Any questions on like getting into the business, like getting started, and what to have as an entrepreneur, real estate investor? Any quick question on that, or you guys kind of got what you need to have?
Yeah. What would get the person to be so motivated and desperate?
What would be a person that's desperate and motivated? That's a great question. Thanks for asking. So you got that. What would be a motivated seller? Like, what does that person look like? What would that person look like, you mean? Like a desperate seller. We'll talk about it in a second, but one of my favorite sellers are sellers that have deadlines. Scott, like deadlines meaning their house is going to go and sell at the courthouse like in a week, right? Or they're going to lose their property at the tax deed auction. Like, that's a deadline, right? You think these people are desperate or motivated? Big difference between desperate and motivated. If you don't pay your mortgage for 2-3 months, you're just motivated. You're not desperate. So that's the difference. If you think you're going to lose your house by next week, you're desperate. You need to get rid of your property, right? I bought a house from a lady that, free and clear, it was a probate property, and she paid the taxes, the mortgage, no mortgage, but what her deadline was, the city was going to start fining her like $50 or $100 a day because she didn't maintain the property. She's out of state. So there's a deadline on her getting charged $50 a day or $100 a day, because then it's a lien against the property, and that $50 or $100 fine, that is, Scott, so that's someone that's really desperate, right? Because she has a deadline. So thanks for asking the question. Do you have anybody else has a question?
Is that like a quick sale?
That is a quick sale. So what happens, I was driving around, I saw this vacant house, I sent this lady a letter, and she says, I get so many letters, but she called me, and because I know what to say in my letter, right? I know what to say. And basically, there's 10 things I say, but one or two of the things I say is, hey, I'm a local guy, you know, I see your property vacant sitting there every day, every week, I see it. So in her mind, I'm like the neighbor, I'm like the nice, private, personal person that's not a business, that's not an investor, that's not, some of the things not to say, we'll talk about it some other time, but thanks for asking that question. So she called me out of all the other investors because I said the key words for her. The key words were, you know, I'm a local guy, I'm a family guy, I need to find a property maybe for myself or maybe as an investor. So that was what she told me. And it took me, I want to say, a year and a half, maybe 2 years to finalize this deal, right? And this house was worth 200, I want to say 200, and I got it for about 70,000. Yeah. So, I mean, it didn't take like a day or a week or a month, but that's just one of the many deals we have going on, right? So the good thing is that the lady was just nothing, not even motivated. And then she went to being motivated when she started getting letters from the city. And she got another extension, another 30, 60, 90 days. Take care of your property, it's vacant. And you know what happened? Since we're talking about this lady, every time there's some wind, like a storm, she would call me. And she says, can you check out my property? She's on the other side of the country. Check out my property. And I text her pictures, I said, this and that's happening. I helped her. In a way, I was like a manager for the property, for free, right? For free. And you know what? I'm always in my area, that's my area. So I didn't mind doing that because I'm in the area and I knew that was gonna be a deal, and I knew she's gonna sell it to some investor, and I knew that's gonna be me. The investor is gonna buy, it's gonna be me. You just know that, right? Because if you're in your county and there's 300,000 homes in your county, or 300,000 houses, my area is 5,000 houses. My area, meaning I'm there every day, my rentals are there, my buyers are there, so everything is really easy because I'm like 5 miles away, right? You guys getting some of this stuff? You guys are good? So far so good?
Were there fines on the property when you bought it?
What?
Were there fines on the property?
No. I bought it with and you know what? I bought it with the issues, but you know what the issues were? You guys don't want even, almost all the properties have issues, and guess what the issue is with the property? Guess what the issues are with properties?
Overgrown grass.
Overgrown grass, fascia board, right? The fascia board.
But did she get any fines though?
No, because she sold it to me because she had a deadline. The deadline to start getting fines on the property.
Oh,
so
okay.
that's what I'm saying. The question was, what makes just a regular seller, a motivated seller, or a desperate seller? She postponed the city to start fining her for, I want to say, a year. So the city was like, this is the last time. You gotta fix your property, like the front of it, the grass. So the lady had a deadline, right? So I bought it right before that deadline, and I spoke to the inspector. I fixed the problem. I bought it for about 70. Since as most of you guys know, if the property is about 100 grand, we close on the property. We close on the property, and then we put it out there, so on the market. We put it on the market. If the property is about 130, 150 and up, sometimes we do other stuff. Like we don't close on properties. We try to sign it, we try to close on it and sell it. But if a property is 100 grand, you know how easy it is to get $100,000 to buy a property? How easy? One of us here, I'll bet you anything, I'll bet you lunch. One of us here, we start asking, we have 100 grand to buy a property that's worth 280. It's property worth 280. Oh yeah? You gotta know, oh yeah. 1, 2, 3, there's 3 lenders here so far. So you see the importance of buying equity, and the money's easy to come. So you buy the property, in this case, that vacant, ugly house. It did take me a little while to get it, but that's just one of many, many deals we have going on, right? So that's the good thing about our business, is that we don't stick with one property and like work every day, night for weeks and weeks and months. No, it's like 5 minutes here, 10 minutes here. That's just one more property that we can add it to our CRM. You guys know what a CRM is? What's a CRM, Charlie?
Customer Relations Management.
Okay, so there's a lot of really good ones. The popular one that we use lately is called Podio. I'm sure you guys know. Podio is great. But you know what? Podio. So for now, you guys understand that if you treat it like Podio, yeah. If you treat it like a business, so what the CRM does is, if you have like 5 deals or 10 deals, it helps you keep it organized and keep it in one place. You heard of it? Of course you do. You're like under 30, so you heard of that. So for now, we got to move on. So anything else? Any other questions about that? So we talk.
I know I'm late, but did you mention how you got the deal? Are you going
Yes,
to
I
mention
did. You're gonna have to buy the video, 99 bucks. So we talked about how to get started, why real estate is amazing, and beautiful, great. We did a deal with George here, first deal, 33 grand, last few weeks. And you know what? The deal had a deed restriction. You know what the deed restriction is? That means we closed, but we didn't get paid until like another week from now. After he's get his money, he offered to buy me drinks and lunch and dinner. So we'll do that. So we really couldn't really celebrate because the money's not in his account. And I told him to maybe get a check just to show it, but we don't care. We just get a wire, George. Don't wait.
Yeah,
You're gonna get a large check. It's gonna take you a week to cash it. Really. So you don't want checks. You want wires. And you know what? If they don't believe you, you made all this money. It's okay. You just get another deal and get a check. Maybe do an assignment, because when it comes to deed restriction properties or any properties, this was a short sale that had a 30-day deed restriction. There was different ways of putting the deal together on this deal we did 2 weeks ago, but we don't want to risk anything. We could have put it in a trust, we could have put it in an LLC or whatever. It's just easier to do it. You can give him a hug later.
That's great.
Oh, he's off on paper one.
Anyway, anyway, so Kevin, we spoke about what kind of person, so why the business is great, what kind of person requires you to be a wholesaler or an entrepreneur, real estate entrepreneur, and we talked about just now how to be an entrepreneur, how to be in a business. Don't just dabble and say, I want to do deals, I want to do deals, I want to do deals, and don't invest in yourself. Not only with knowledge, but more importantly, spend $300-400, $333 to be exact, right? To get the stuff you need. Stuff, meaning what we're going to talk about next. Postcards, business cards. If you want to get some road signs, fine. Whatever. It's like endless. You can get brochures, like I said. You can get yellow letters, always stuff. Like it's endless. Like marketing is endless, right? But what works for most people and how you can get some properties right away, you gotta have those business cards. So let's just talk about the three things, Kevin. We talked about business cards. We talked about talking to agents, which is free, literally pretty much free. And postcards, they're $5,000 for $120. You can talk to Steve. He will tell you how much they are. But you know what? For 5,000 postcards, it's going to take you a little while to get rid of those postcards. I mean, to do your marketing, so they last you a long time. All right, so let's talk about business cards. Anybody has a business card you want me to analyze or?
Got a brand new one.
Oh, you did. Well, let me tell you what should be in your postcard. You guys ready? I'm sorry, with a business card. This is going to tell you about business cards for like a few minutes, and I'd like to finish at around 1:30. So let me know. Let me know.
1:30.
Like, Jesus. All right, so we'll talk about this really quick. You're a realtor, great. General contractor, realtor. Wait, what are you? General contractor or realtor?
I do both.
You do both? Okay. So I'm confused. You know what I'm going to do with this?
What?
Where should I put you and what? So have you heard of the expression, you chase two rabbits, you're not going to get any of them? Okay, that's cool. I didn't mean to disrespect. This is great. It's
No,
good.
but you see, I'm not the realtor, I get property.
General contractor or realtor. So
Yeah, but the realtor, I
okay.
get two.
No, that's good. So let me tell you, like with the, can I do a David Letterman thing?
Yeah, yeah.
Anybody else? Any cards you want to? All right, I like this already. Why?
Picture.
Picture. Okay. You know what I don't like? It's so small. You know what I mean? One of the first things to talk about business cards. It's going to be huge, man. Like, you know, our sellers. I thought of this a year ago. We did. Let's say we did 20 deals. Like 70% of them, everyone was over 60 years old. Over 60. You know what that means. You know what it means, right? That means that they look at this car, nice picture, but can barely read. I can barely see. There's nothing in the back. Can barely read. I mean, this is a real estate, an agent card, which is okay. You gotta have your stuff, your address, your email, website, whatever, and it's good. But so it's good and bad. It's great. You know, if you want to make it a little brighter and happier and more, you know, just like a yellowish, pinkish color, that would be amazing. So something that would separate you from everyone else. So you gotta be unique. So one of the things can I do this again?
Yeah, go ahead.
Hey, where's the drum roll? We're gonna go over time. You got one more? Oh, you did? Okay, so now this is good. Vistaprint, right? So you know. Steve
No,
knows
I actually got it at a print shop, but I'm gonna give you the card. I got it in place in Hollywood.
Direct mortgage investing. Okay, so he's telling you mortgage. So basically, you have keywords. When you talk about business cards, you have keywords and key things to say. And my old business cards used to be very, very simple and plain. All I want to do is say, have a picture, because pictures are great. Doesn't matter if the picture is like from today or a year ago, doesn't matter, just have some kind of a picture, right? And the next thing we do for people, like people in their mind is like, what's in there for me, right? You understand in marketing, what's in there for me is the key words. So what you want to do is say what's in it for them. What do? We buy houses, or I buy houses, or Eddie buys houses, or your name buys houses. That's more personal, which is good. Like this is your real estate investing card. I mean, this is a realtor card or whatever card. A mortgage card is great. It's good. It's clean. The material's good. You know, I mean, the logo is great. So for now, here are the few things you have to have on your card. And I'll tell you a deal I did with a business card recently. So you have to have a picture. You have to have large, like keywords. I buy houses, cash. Is that keyword? Is that enough? Cash. Say cash. You want to say as is maybe because you're buying as is. So that card is it's good for everyone, I think. Like if you go to a meeting, or if you're you know, wherever you are, you're buying, getting a haircut or buying a sandwich somewhere, you can pass that card out. So it's great. So let me tell you to finish on the card. And then if you want to add your email, have an easy email to remember. An easy email to remember. If you want to say Eddie buys houses, or if you want to say, what's your name? Dave. Dave. If you want to say Dave home buyer, or something like that, or Dave house buyer, or Dave cash buyer. That's easy to remember. Our sellers, our agents, they're driving, they're busy, and sometimes they're not going to stop or text you or whatever. They want to remember. You say something something that it clicks with them, they'll want to remember your email. When they get home, they'll be like, Dave buys houses. Yeah, I'll send them this lead I have. It's Dave buys houses. So that's huge. So that should be in your business card, because that's just a great way to communicate with people and everyone. Okay, I'll rush it. Dave wants me to pick up the pace. So here's the deal I did with a business card. I have like many deals I've done with a business card, but here's one that's really simple and plain, and a $5,000 profit in like, I don't know, 5 minutes of work. 5 minutes of work. Business cards. You ready? I'm driving around an area. Again, I'm driving an area. So I fold the card or two, fold it, and you put it in the door, in the crack of the door, right? And you forget about it. You don't have to come back to that area again if you don't want to. So you can do more with that vacant, ugly house. But I put the if there was a door, I'll show you. But basically, put 1 or 2 business cards on the door, on the crack of the door. I don't know, a few months later, it might have been 4 or 5 months later, I get a call from a mom and a guy. And they said to me, I saw your card here, and it seems like you buy houses. And since I deal with an area, I already told you my 5,000 area, I know 3 or 4 buyers, they buy everything from me, right? All I have to do is make a phone call. So I went to meet them, and I'm like, I know this house. And I said, what do you want to do with it? And I was going to put it on a contract and do all this stuff. But what I did was, they told me, I want so much. And I said, sure. And I said, you guys are ready to sign and everything else? Yeah. So I called a friend, one of my 4 buyers in that area. And they asked me, what do you want to make? That sounds like a great deal. I'm like, whatever, 5 grand? Sure. They gave me 5 grand. They took over my lead, right? And then they closed. So when I say it took me 5 minutes for a business card, that could happen. That could happen, right? So you got it? Okay, so that's the importance of business. But you have a quick question?
Yeah. You said you also do door hangers, so what's the difference between doing that and a door hanger?
We don't want to talk about that for now, but you know what?
Oh, okay.
The importance of business card is pretty much the same. I don't know. Like, just to answer your question about door hangers, I love door hangers. When I drive around, let's say a list of whatever, I'll spend like 20 seconds here, and you put your door hanger on the door, and then go to a property like this, where you drive around. Once you see a property from a list, a desperate seller list, you won't forget that property. And even if you come back a month later, you see the same property. So the good thing about this house is it didn't look ugly at all, but I saw my door hanger just sitting there for months. Every time I drove by it. So what I did is I did a skip trace and found this guy, the seller, He gave the house to the bank, but you know, he just walked away. He skipped trace. When I called the guy, he said, I don't want to talk to you. There's nothing in there for me. I don't, you know, I gave the house to the bank. I don't care. I left. So I told the guy, look, this is after minutes of talking, a few minutes of talking. I said, does your wife and you like to have dinner at some kind of restaurant? What's your favorite restaurant? And he says, yeah, I'd love to have dinner. Why? Because the guy didn't want to meet me to sign stuff. And I don't want him to sign a contract. I want him to sign the ownership to me, because he's gone. His mind is like, I don't care about that house. He said, I even told the bank I left the key on top of somewhere in the mailbox, right? So what I did was, I said, where are you? It's like 5 miles away. I go to meet him, and why did he want to talk to me? Because I offer him a little gift card from his favorite restaurant for 50 bucks. So 50 bucks, so you giving me 50 bucks? I'll sign, come over. Anyway, so going back to business cards, talking about door hangers, we're really short of time, so I'm gonna try to go quick. So let's do it on Dave Letterman. You ready? All right, so we got 2 more things to talk about really quick. Agents, man, I can talk about agents for a day. Agents, how much is to find an agent to bring in property? How much is that? He's right here, $5, right? Lunch, like talk to him. He's got access to all the properties you want. Or any agent, real estate agents have access to a lot of properties, free to you in your email. Or you can meet them, they can give you a list. So what do you tell agents? First, how do you find agents? You find them here. Where else you find agents?
They're everywhere.
They're everywhere. But you know,
I work with them every day.
You work with them every day. Where
Every
else,
day.
Dave? Where do you find agents? Like online?
Online. Just Google it.
But if someone comes to a real estate investing meeting, you know when a property is worth 200 and you want to offer 100, they're really going to work for you, putting that offer. Because 99% of agents, 95% of agents, if they have a property worth it's listed for 200 and you want to offer 100, they'll just not even make it. You know, they'll think it's a waste of time, that you're not serious. So the agents you want to find are the ones that they know investing and they can work with you to work for you, bring you properties and making lower offers with good terms. So if you have any questions on agents, let me know. But the last thing I'll tell you, because it's so important, agents have access to what? Desperate sellers. Remember, the desperate sellers were REO properties, bank-owned properties, short sales, right? Hedge funds, there's investors that don't know what they're doing, like this deal. We bought a house for $280, Kevin, for 100 grand, right around 100 grand, 280. So that's through an agent, but through a seller that's desperate, like an investor that's desperate. I think they live far away from the property and they couldn't, it's too much work, and I can deal with the work. So they have access to REOs, bank-owned properties, short sales, desperate sellers. You understand that if you have this computer with the MLS, they can do a search on motivated sellers, like keywords, divorce, state. Do you understand that? So you talk to an agent, instead of you going out trying to find motivated sellers, you can go right in the MLS and put some keywords for them to just automatically email you this type of properties in your zip codes or areas, right? So you understand the importance of having agents in your team, right? So if you have any questions on agents, let me know before we go. We have another few minutes here. And the very last thing I'll talk about, is postcards. You guys know what a postcard is? These are postcards for the meeting today. And also, these are my postcards that I use often. Now, I change things around with postcards. I change colors. Sometimes I'm doing red, depending on the time of the year. Green, yellow. My favorite is yellow. Yellow postcards are great. And you know what? You see these postcards? What's it say there? Vacant. It says vacant. So it's like, how do you find vacant houses? You do a little mail out, and then you get this back in the mail. It says vacant. Vacant. So you know you can probably find this people, right? So it just saves you some time by sending mail outs, by being active in the business. So anyway, so what do you say in the postcard? Kind of like the business card. There's keywords. Picture is really important, right? Number one, picture is great because people can, if they see you and they ever meet you, you already have like a visual connection with them, and it's a lot easier to deal with them. Again, large print. See, 80 by houses, that's pretty large, right? You have easy number to remember, large, like the phone number is large. And then, you know, I bought a house from a guy. He called me because he went bankrupt, and I think he was late on payments. But it says here, you went bankrupt. I went bankrupt. It says here, you went bankrupt. So it's good to have, like in the business card, I have here, facing foreclosure, divorce, inherited properties, missed payments, bankruptcy, relocating, vacant property, payments skyrocketed. So all these little motivation keys, when people read this, they're like, oh, that's me. So they'll give me a call. So this is the last thing I'll talk about. And then there are a few more things. If you want to put your email and website, if you have a quick website that you can make, it'll be great. And put it in there, because people want to know what they're dealing with. So especially in this market, people want to know who they want to do business with, because a lot of people were taken advantage of. And what happened is now they want to know who you are, if you have an office, how long you've been doing this. You don't have to have an LLC. You don't have to have an LLC or a name of a business in your postcard. That doesn't do anything for people. I say, you know, I've been doing this for 25 years or more. That might do something for people because they know I'm around and I'm not going anywhere. I'm around, and they, in a way, it's good and bad. The bad is that, you know, I might know too much. I'm in the business, and they might want to deal with a private person that wants to move into their property, right? Because sometimes sellers don't care about the money. Sometimes they care about who's coming into my property, that they have so many memories of. They raise their family in this property, so they're a little bit, you know, emotional attached to this property. If they're going to give it to someone, they don't want to give it to someone that's going to make a killing on their property. They want to give it to the property to someone like them, someone like, you know, a family, maybe have a kid or two that wants to go to their school in that area. All this stuff, as long as it's really personal. I can tell you what a property, like hundreds of properties through postcards. But one of the properties I'm thinking of being personal is it's a probate type property that this agent that brought me a few deals. Her husband's family sold me the property, and they kind of made me promise not to flip it and sell it. It's been a few years, and I now want to sell it because the market is so hot and people are paying top dollar. But the point is, the way we got this property is by saying that we're going to move in, or we're going to not sell it as an investment and make like $100 grand, because the house is worth about 300. They sold it to me for 140, maybe 280, 140. And she could have easily put it on the market, easily, and get 20, 30,000 more, maybe 40,000 more. This is a 3-3 in an area that's, a lot of people you probably know, a 3-bedroom, 3-bath, like 1,500 square foot house. Great house. So it's worth around 300. Not now, then. And she knew that. This is an agent. So the reason why we bought it, because it's very personal. And I said, hey, guarantee we're not going to sell it. So that was what made us buy that property. So you guys got postcards? If you want to see a sample, you can see it later. But basically, picture, large fonts. If you want to say your website, your email, you know, 25 years. If you want to say, you know, I bought another property, I'll tell you quick, just by saying I speak Spanish here in the back. Speak Spanish, and that's, you know, you can speak whatever you want to speak, a different language. So I have a good friend that speaks Creole. I have so many sellers that speak French or Creole. So I'm a phone call away to do a 3-way call to buy or sell a property to someone that speaks Creole. But you know, that helps if you have that in the postcard. So if you guys want to know more, either keep coming to the meetings or maybe join our social media, Wholesaling Houses Now, or subscribe, maybe share the video with others if you care about them. If you don't, just keep it to yourself and do the business on your own, like a lot of us used to do long ago. Don't tell anything we learn, all these secrets in marketing, all these strategies that work in any market, right? So if you have questions, feel free to call the number or just come to meetings, or if you want some coaching, we do a little bit of coaching. We're partnering. We like to partner with people. So we don't want to tell you we use you as a bird dog, but really that's what we're on. We work together. We're utilizing our knowledge, our money, and in my stage of my life, I don't want to do what I used to do when in my 20s or 30s. Now I'm in my 40s, I want to be the elephant instead of being the mouse, running around finding leads and properties putting out signs in the middle of the night and getting yelled at. Well, you're knocking on doors. You guys, if you knock on doors, you get yelled at like half the time. so you know, I don't mind doing that anymore, but I've done it enough. So now I work with people where if you want to do that, we can share the profit and make a lot of money because there's so much involved. And what we talked about today, that's just part of the business. It's half the business. You know, the 80% of the business is getting that lead, that motivated seller calling you. Everything else is technical, contracts, your team, title companies, and what kind of deposits you put in, what to say. This clauses I use in my contracts, like this like 5 or 6 of them. You know, from like don't sell it to anyone else to like if the title company needs more time. You know, all this stuff that's in there. That's basically what you'll never know. No one teaches this. And this is what makes or breaks investors when they're starting out. Because if you have buyers, you have a house in the country, you have buyers, one of those buyers is going to go behind your back. And how do you protect yourself from that, right? People going behind your back on your deals, they're fantastic deals. So why one of your buyers, why can they just go to the seller and say, hey, I'll pay you so much more? This happens all the time. It happened with our deal with George. We ran a property for $200, and someone else offered that seller $250. He says, we'll split 25 grand. They told the seller, we'll split 25 grand. And you know what? We were very protected because we know what we're doing. This is the part of the business where, you know, it takes time for you to get to, and unless you're working with some kind of coach or mentor, and you can assume all the knowledge and all the stabs in the back that we've gone through after 15, 20, 25 years of doing the business. And if you start in the business, you gotta maybe get to some kind of coach or mentor where they can share with you what contract to write, how to write it, you know, what title company to use, who gets the deposit and how much. All deals are very different. Deals are very different, so you gotta do the best that works for you, right? It works for you, and it's a win-win for everybody. And of course, you wanna make as much money as you can, as long as everybody's happy. Right, so for now, I think we're done. Thanks for your time, and give yourselves a round of applause for being here.